Can you hear me, Pat?
Yes. Councilman Starr, are you on?
Yes, Councilman Stars here. How you doing? Good morning.
Doing good. Chairman Gallagher.
I know I have two pieces today.
You do. One of them has been rescheduled. The first
Okay.
one.
700 Central is
5124.
rescheduled.
Yeah, 5124 has been rescheduled. So
Okay.
I'll move the other one up for you to number one docket.
Thank
That'd be 8624.
All right, no problem.
Okay, we're waiting for Ms. Davis.
Thank you.
Is there a place where you can see the docket for today?
Yes, they should bring up each docket when it is called.
Would it be possible to see the agenda for the meeting?
We have not done that, no.
As long as we're just waiting, would someone be able to quickly go over the agenda before we start?
When you want to, is it that you want to know what's your number that you're looking at?
My husband just got this meeting in his email and I don't know what it's for, and I want to
Oh.
know why I'm here.
Oh, okay, that's different altogether. What's your docket number? You know?
I don't know. It's in his email, so
Okay, is he going to be on?
I don't know. We appealed something. We did appeal something, but I wasn't involved in it, so I don't have any of the information, and he's not able to be on. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here.
Okay, well, we'll wait for Ms. Davis, and when he gets called up, I don't know. I don't see your name on here.
Is there Felipe Freitas?
Okay, you both your names are on. Hold on just a moment.
Well, I'll wait then. Thank you.
Okay, you're near to the last docket. You're A101-24.
Okay, is it possible? I'm sorry. I didn't know about this, and I have a 10-month-old. So is it possible to like leave and come back later?
You know what? I don't know if you can call. Yeah, because I have no idea how fast this is going to go. So I understand your concern. Might be able to may be able to move you up considering the circumstances. I have one councilman coming out first. And let me talk to Ms. Davis when she comes on.
All right, thank you.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you for being patient. Please keep your microphones muted until your docket number is called. When your docket is called, you would then be asked to introduce yourself, your and the relationship to the property. Those that are in person in room 514, please put all your cellular devices on silent or airplane mode. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Gallagher.
Okay, in compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1796, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to taking any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile versions and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you. Be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located at the bottom of the WebEx screen. All meeting activity is being recorded by way of the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak in a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. We have Mr. Jacobson.
Mr. Chairman, this is the from the law department preliminary issues. The live stream, can we verify that the live stream is on and functioning? Yes, it is. Thank you.
Ms.
And
Davis?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Jacobson.
We have open mics. So whoever mic is open, please close your mic until your docket is called. Mr. Jacobson, you got to speak up a little louder, please, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, again, this is Dan Jacobson from the Law Department. Another preliminary matter, as the Law Department has done since these public meetings have gone virtual and are hybrid, the law states its objection to the use of the chat. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Ms. Davis.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Here.
Mr. Bradley,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here. So
You have a quorum.
we have a quorum, but we only have 3 board members, which means that if our decision is not unanimous, which it usually is, then your appeal goes back to the city. If for that reason you prefer not to have your case heard, then let me know when we call your case that you would like to reschedule your case. Ms. Davis, I have Councilman Starr is on, and I've already informed him that his first case, 5124, has been rescheduled, but we're going to move on to his second case, which is docket A8624.
Mr. Gallagher, due to
Yes.
the technical issues that we're experiencing right now, it is hard for me to toggle through the presentation like it was before. So unfortunately, trying to have to go in order so we won't lose the connection while we work out these issues, these ongoing issues that we're having.
Okay,
I'm not in advance to those slides at this moment.
okay, so you can't move forward. All right. Sorry about that, Councilman, and we had one other request from one of the last ones that she has a 10-month-old, and she'd like to know if she can leave the meeting for a while, come back, but I says I have no idea how this is gonna work out. So that was a A10124. So maybe her husband will come on. All right, so we're gonna have to take it from the top, as Ms. Davis had said. So we're gonna call the first docket A4324, 2184 West 85th Street.
Application and fees are in order. The notice of violation is fire damage issued on January 16th of 2024. Appeal was received February 26th of 2024, requesting for 4 to 6 months to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Lynn Murray, Acting Chief Building Official, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Gallagher, I do not see anyone from Hasselbola Inc. in our participants panel, and they're not present with us today in room 514.
Okay, Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Hey, Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant in your docket?
To the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with the hearing and its ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murray.
It looks, because of our technical difficulty, I don't have any access to if they pull permits or not. Are we aware?
Through the chair to Mr. Murray, we did receive inspector report from Inspector, I guess it's Deckard.
Did it?
And he, in his report, he says that no progress is being made with the permits that he found when he went for his inspection. Work was being done without a permit, and the owner stated that he was working with a design professional to submit drawings.
So, Mr. Murray?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it appears they're working on it. And, at this time, I can't confirm if the permits have been pulled. So I would say remand.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Motion is in order to deny more time and remand the property of the building, Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion moved by Mr. Bradley. You're muted.
Second,
Okay, second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Ms. Lipscomb,
yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yeah.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, the next docket is, building docket 85124, 2517 East 57th Street. And it has been, postponed to be rescheduled. Next docket is, building docket A 9424, 2163 East 78th Street.
Application and fees are in order. This is a notice of violation of interior and exterior maintenance and hazardous conditions issued on April 18th of 2024. Appeal was received May 6th of 2024, requesting for 6 months to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Glenn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. Mr. Gallagher, I do not see a Cheryl Emmons in the participant panel this morning.
Okay.
And that person is not in room 514 with us currently.
Okay, Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Gallagher, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant in your docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Gallagher, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with the hearing and its ruling today. Thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, I don't see any permits. Did the council person want to speak on this one?
No, this one isn't, well, I don't think, wait a minute.
It is, but I don't see him no longer in the participant panel.
Is he on?
I don't see him in the participant panel anymore. Star.
He's not on anymore. Okay. I don't see him either. Okay, all right, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to remand. I don't see any progress having been made, and it's currently occupied with renters. So I think this is something that we need to get their attention on, get this thing fixed.
Okay, the motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property as Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion
So moved.
moved by Ms. Lipscomb. Mr. Bradley, are you muted? I'll second the motion.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley? I can hear you. You're kind of faint though, Mr. Bradley. Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Next docket?
Okay, notice will be sent out, within 2 weeks. We'll go, next docket is A 9824 3412 East 145th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the main structure and of the garage. Issued on December 7th of 2022. Appeal was received May 10th of 2024. Helen was requesting for 6 months to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Glenn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Vanel Jigba.
Okay, Mr. Zigba, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what the plans are.
Okay, so I bought this in April of 2024 and it had all the violations. And so right after purchasing, I got all the stamp drawings done. And as we speak, I am currently pursuing the permit to start abating right away.
Okay. How much time do you think you need to abate the violations?
I think 6 months will be enough to get it back to its past glory.
Okay, sounds great. Mr. Murray?
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, do your plans include demolishing the garage, or will you be fixing that also?
No, so I would be taking down the garage and then going ahead with updating the building. So the garage will be raised down.
Okay, so the garage will be raised, but the building will be corrected.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, what are the status of your plans? Have they been submitted to the building department?
Yes, please. So we submitted the first time. It was reviewed, and then we received feedback to go do some corrections based on the new codes that were issued in March. And so my architect worked on that, and then we resubmitted it about 3 weeks ago.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, who is your architect?
Lobas, Chris Lobas.
Mr. Chairman, I have no objection to an extension.
Okay, motion is in order for January 16th, 6 months, 2025 to abate the violations. Motion? Motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley? Ms. Lipscomb?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, building docket A 100-24 3373 East 93rd Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is hazardous conditions issued on April 10th of 2024. Appeal was received May 9th of 2024, requesting for 6 months to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Glenn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Gallagher, I do not see a representative for Black Lion Investment Group LLC, and today's participant panel were present in row 514.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murray solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with the hearing and its ruling. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, it appears that the damage compromises egress to one or more, fire egress to one or more of the units. And seeing that there's no representation here to help us get this fixed, I think we need to remand to the building department.
Okay, motion is in order to deny more time and remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion? Okay, motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley? Ms. Lipscomb?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Okay, docket A, 4624 3457 West 41st Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance. Issued on January 29th of 2024. Appeal was received March 1st of 2024. The applicant did not state how much time they needed for abatement. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Glenn Murray and Dan Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Margarita Roman.
Okay, Mr. Roman, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
We have a contractor out, getting 60% of the work has been done. And I'm here today representing my dad, Manuel Roman. He had a stroke a month and a half ago, and he currently is in rehab. And I communicated via email to see if we could reschedule today so that my dad can be present, but I was unable to get a hold of anyone because I did receive this notice of the hearing on Monday for today. But work has been done.
The work has been done?
Work has been done. It's 60% finished. Mr. Church, the inspector, did come out on Friday and he did take pictures of the work that has been completed.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Mr. Chairman,
What's that?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
when I spoke to this young lady on Monday, I told her that we needed some type of authorization for her to speak on behalf of the owner today, because this application was filled out without any type of power of attorney giving to her to represent the owner, Mr. Roman. So I'm not quite sure who we're speaking with today.
well, that's Margarita Roman.
Yes, but we do not have anything giving her permission to speak on behalf of the owner.
Okay, do you have anything, Ms. Roman, that you can get over to Ms. Davis?
We are currently in the process of looking for a notary that can come out to him so that we can have this power of attorney notarized. When I spoke with someone yesterday in the evening, it was very costly to have someone come out to notarize this power of attorney, giving me permission. So I have 2 messages out to 2 local notaries to see if they would be able to come out to him so that we can get this notarized, so that I can be able to represent him, in any court or any proceedings that he would need assistance.
Okay, So you understand that you need to have that done, and so with no objection from the city, we'll take your testimony. I'm gonna go over to Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, first, the building department expresses our deepest sympathy and hope for a quick recovery for your father. Are you planning personally to continue to supervise the work while he's in the hospital?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, how long do you expect the rest of the work to take to get this done?
I would say maybe 5-6 months, maybe sooner.
Mr. Chairman, barring other issues, the city would have no issue with granting an extension.
Okay, so we can give her 6 months so that she can handle what she has to handle. Okay. So motion is in order to go to January 16th, 6 months, 2025 to abate the violations. Motion? Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Just to reconfirm with the appellant that she will submit the authorization when available as she testified.
Okay,
Ms. Davis.
Okay.
We gotta, give a time frame on that
Yes.
before we adopt the resolution, or?
If the appellant through the chair can advise how long that authorization would take.
Oh, I'm
Can you
pretty
give me a
sure.
week?
A week?
A week next week that I can have somebody, a notary come out to him and have this notarized. It's already printed and everything. We're just looking for that notary to come out to him.
Okay, so it must be in by those 2 weeks before we accept it. Is that correct, Mr. Jacobson?
We need it before July 31st, where we will be adopting this resolution, Mr. Gallagher.
There you have it. Okay? So make sure that it's in by then.
All right, thank you. And I can leave the meeting now?
Yes, you're done.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, next docket, A4724, 3630 East 112th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued on February 16th of 2024. Appeal was received March 5th of 2024, requesting for 6 months to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Gallagher, I do not see Ms. Wilson in the participant panel this morning, nor are they present in room 514.
Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like, although this seems to be a fairly well-maintained building, the lawn's nice, the trees are, the shrubs are, it looks like we have an impending structural failure. trusses or joists in that porch look like they broken or about to come down. I think we need to remand to the city.
Okay, sounds good. A motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion? Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Docket A 5024 11310 Florian Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued on February 28th of 2024. Appeal was received March 7th of 2024, requesting for 6 to 9 months to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Gallagher, I do not see Steve Vulick in the participant panel, and they are not present in the hearing in room 514 today.
Mr. Murray solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman and Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman and Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Murray.
I think with nobody here to refute, I think we have to remand.
Motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion? Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Okay, docket A 5224 9331 Pratt Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the main structure and of the garage. Issued on February 7th of 2024. Appeal was received March 6th of 2024, requesting for 60 days to get permit. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray and Dan Jacobson Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Hello, this is Courtney Music.
Okay, if I got that last name right, Music?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Music, go ahead and let us know what the plans are.
Sure. So if you can see the exterior of the property, the exterior is in good shape. The interior, we had bad tenants that we had just gotten out, and we began we received a call from Mike Smith because he received a complaint on a completely separate property. He decided to review the properties of the entire LLC. At the time when we received the call, when I received the call, I asked him if he could send me an email of what is needed, and I never received an email from him. He then, I think, as he explained, due to a lack of communication, he wanted to inspect the interior, every single property in the LLC. It was very aggressive. It was overzealous. We explained, and he was aware that we had just got tenants out, and we had no intentions of leaving the property in bad condition. And he condemned the property. Our concern is not with doing work. We had intentions of doing work. We had just got bad tenants out, but the condemnation requires a level of work that is past what it would be standard in any other time, because you have to bring the property up to current codes. You have to pull permits for all. What am I trying to say? Trades, and which would not be typical. We don't have a problem with pulling permits, but there's no major structural issues. So then I kept saying to him, what do you mean that there was no communication? We didn't receive an email from you. Not until I filed the appeal did I receive his email. When he received the appeal, he realized he was placing a typo in the email. So he forwarded me the emails, and that was his fault. So then when I responded, well, now we see where the communication issue is. He never responded again. I feel that, as I said, I don't have a problem with doing the work here. It is just that the level of the condemnation is just, it creates a hardship when you have to put that amount of dollars into a property that may not even have that value. When, as like I said, you can see the exterior of the property is not in bad shape. The interior of the property, it just looks trash because of bad tenants. If you look in the basement, the appliances are not that old. I think we bought the property in 2022. The appliances were newly installed per the owner at that time, that he told us. We have no intentions of leaving the property in disrepair. It is just the condemnation is really overzealous, and the entire process was overzealous due to, as what he described, was typos. He also said at that time he would be sending, and I sent this email in as well, he would send us a list of violations, and as long as we address those violations, he would not he would not condemn the property. Well, we didn't receive that list because he had a typo in his email. Only when I finally received communication, it was via condemnation that he sent via mail. He also sent it via email that we did not receive, but we received the condemnation via mail. And then that was surprising because it was just not what we had communicated with him. And when I reached out to him, he said, well, I've been emailing you. And then never did we receive communication from him until actually I filed the appeal. He looked at the email and received the error.
Okay. Let me go over to Mr. Murray.
Well, through the chairman to the appellant, and to the board, I wanted to just state an objection to the appellant's representative of the city official is overzealous. The city inspector's not here to testify or defend on that, so I just want to state an objection to her characterization of that. And ask the appellant that they did receive the violation notice, the condemnation. How did they receive that?
We received the condemnation notice via mail, but it was already condemned at that point. Mr. Smith, the inspector, said that he would send us a list of violations that if we addressed, then he would not condemn the property. We did not receive that list because he was sending that via email. And then when we received the condemnation notice via mail, it was too late because the property had been condemned. I have the emails and I forwarded those in to where he had the typos in the emails that he was previously sending us. Well, he only sent 2 of them, but he said to us that he had sent us multiple emails, but I think he just sent the 2 to make the point that he was trying to communicate. But we did not receive anything until we finally received the condemnation notice in the mail, the U.S. Postal Service.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, the photos are from January 2024. Have you cleaned the debris from the site and from the vacant garage?
Yes.
And which permits have you pulled so far?
Well, none, because again, I wanted to have this conversation. When the property is condemned, the level of permits that you must pull is different. You must submit site plans and you must submit permits from all trades, and the property must be brought up to 2023 code. Whereas when you are correcting violations and the property is not condemned, the level of rehabilitation is different. You must just correct the violations. Certain things that are existing standards are fine. You don't need to do an entire electrical upgrade to the 2023 code. So I wanted to have this conversation, pulling permits, because based on this conversation would determine what type of permits we would be pulling.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, from what I'm seeing in the pictures, you'd be pulling all your permits anyway. And the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, maybe or maybe not a regular building permit, depending on the condition. But at least you'd be pulling mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So really calling it condemned versus writing a bunch of violations is really a moot point in this case. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it probably could have started to be done in January or February of this year. So this thing sat half a year since you're already warned, because we're concerned about the wording of a condemnation. In general, you're not going to have to bring an existing house, even if it's condemned, up to the new building code. We want this safe and livable. We're not going to make you sprinkler. We're not going to make you add egress. But we want what's there to be something that's safe for people to live in, and not an eyesore for the adjacent property owners. So if you want to come and pull your permits, we will work with you. But that's the first step, is to get permits pulled, so we know that everybody is on board to get this place fixed.
So
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last thing that you said about just the last 15 seconds.
Pull your permits.
So it's not an issue with pulling the permits. We don't have an issue with that. And I know that you mentioned that you're not going to have us bring the property up to current code. That's not what we're being told when we're coming down to the city. They're saying for electrical, for example, there are certain things. A small example is hardwired. What is it? I apologize. Hardwired smoke detectors, things like that. They have told us when we've come down to the city, to the building department, to have the discussion of what is exactly needed, which is why we held off, is that for the mechanical, electrical trades, you do have to bring it up to current code. So it's not just the wording of the condemnation and the concern with pulling the permits, it's the level of work. I've pulled a lot of electrical permits in the past for properties, and when you're just dealing with, making some, corrections to some things, but we've never had to bring it up to current 2023 code, which is what I believe the current code is. And that's not what the building department has told us when we've come down there, that we don't have to bring it up to code. And that's what you're saying now.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, you haven't pulled a permit yet, and it's been over half a year.
Right, because we've come down there to have that conversation, and they're telling us that we have to, the permits have to be brought up to current code. And so that's why I wanted to have this conversation. You are now saying that that is not correct. They don't have to be brought up to current code.
Mr. Chairman, through the appellant, this is Vishnu. Could the appellant please clarify the ask? This is for time to complete abatements. How much time would she envisage is required to pull the permits and abate the violations for the city's consideration and the board's consideration?
So that's a question. Is to Ms. Muzak, how much time do you need to abate the violations?
If so, to abate the violations, I think that if we have 6 months, and it is we don't mind pulling permits for each trade. Again, my issue is the varying information that I am receiving regarding what type of work needs to be done. Is it corrections of the violations, or as I have said, and Mike Smith, who was the inspector on this, also told me, along with the people down there when we were looking into pulling permits, that it does have to be brought up to code. So if that is not the case, then I don't have an, we could have started this work and will start the work. It is just the understanding. What I'm being told today is not what I've been told all this time. And that was why I was disputing the condemnation status, especially considering that there's no major structural issues and we just had bad tenants. We don't leave our properties in disrepair. So the aggressive method, like as soon as we got tenants out that, it's being condemned, is excessive. If that is not the case, the condemnation just means we need to pull our permits, but it doesn't really mean anything different with regards to the standard of, we can leave things as existing as long as he is saying it's safe, and we can bring it up to the standard that we've brought all properties that we've pulled permits up in the past, then that is not an issue at all, because we already had that intention. It's just that that's not what we've been told up to this point.
All right, Mr. Murray, is it possible just to have a reinspection and so that it can be identified as far as which permits need to be pulled, so we don't go back?
Mr. Chairman, there's a lengthy list of items that need to be fixed in the violation.
Okay, and so that's what she needs to do.
And the condemnation simply means it's not fit to live in.
Okay.
So, Mr.
So
Chairman,
if I address those violations and just pull permits as I have in the past, I will not be required to bring the property up to 2023 code. I can just fix all things electrical, mechanical, all trades, just as I have in the past, address those violations. But there's no additional meaning on condemnation on bringing it up to the 2023 code. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, I can't really, without having seen the building, I can't make that argument. But for example, your concern about interconnected smoke detectors, a 6-pack of wireless interconnected smoke detectors are about $70 at Home Depot. And those are kind of the allowances that we can make to get a building to meet the spirit of the code without meeting the letter of the code. And as a building for rental occupants, that's something we need to see.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we have Lieutenant Ostiak with his hands raised.
Say that again.
Lieutenant
Alexia,
oh Lord.
Yes.
He has his hand raised.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Lieutenant.
Mr. Chairman, Lieutenant Alexiak with the Division of Fire. I think it's important that Ms. Wooden knows that.
He needs to be sworn in first.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay.
I just think it's important. I just wanted to let the appellant know. I think it's important. She's looking for a clear answer as to whether or not she's going to need to bring her, bring this property up to code, where that's not an answerable question until you pull your permits. The permit isn't just a piece of paper, it's the process that's involved. So you may pull an electrical permit or the plumbing permit, and in doing that work, in the course of doing the work, and in the course of having the inspections done through that process, it may be determined that you do need to bring certain things up to code. But that will be determined in the course of that process, So to say, definitively, your home will not, or this property will not, be required to be brought up to code is not answerable. It's the point of the permit process. The permit process also involves the inspections and the commissioning of any electrical systems or fire alarm.
I think
So I think
Lieutenant,
that's-
I think her issue is that a condemnation was put on the property, which means it all has to be brought up. And that's,
Well, I heard
that's her issue.
You know,
She's
it
saying,
sounded like Mr. Murray resolved that, you know, but she keeps going back to the point of whether or not her property has to be brought up to code. We're trying to get her to submit those permits so we can get this process started.
I don't think she has a problem doing that. She just doesn't want to be hit with, you know, having it all considered to be condemned and then have to meet that requirement rather than just going ahead and doing it. You know, she has no problem. It doesn't sound like in getting the permits out there, and I guess that's what we're gonna have to rule on, just to say that go ahead and get your permits and do the work. And if something does have to go to another extent, then fine. Like you said, Lieutenant, you know, if it doesn't meet, then they're gonna have to fix it. So,
Mr. Chairman.
yes,
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, the building sat since at least January of this year in this condition with no permits pulled. I'm afraid I would ask that the board require permits pulled in a certain time. Otherwise, the project should be remanded. I'm not seeing any progress. I haven't seen any progress. And I'm not getting a sense that progress is the issue here rather than changing the name of its condemned or not.
okay.
So I've addressed why I have not. It's
You
because
did.
I wanted to
You did.
have
You don't
a
have to go into it.
conversation.
I heard your argument on it, and I get that, okay?
Thank
I know
you.
you were waiting, and you thought that he was gonna get back to you, and he had the wrong email address, it was off, and that's the reason why you haven't done anything. You don't have a problem getting started, so I got all that. So what we're gonna go do is, we're gonna give you some time on this to go ahead and pull the permits. So we'll say that you have to get all your permits pulled by August 16th, 30 days, 2024, and we'll give you 6 months, January 16th, 180 days, 2025 to abate the violation.
Okay, that sounds good.
Motion?
So move.
Been moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, docket A 5324, 3788 Lee Heights Boulevard.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is winter registration, no permit, and interior and exterior maintenance issued on February 9th, 2024. Appeal was received March 8th of 2024. Appellant did not request a specific time for abatement. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Dan Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, I do not see anyone from Hero Homes JV2 LLC in the participant panel, nor are they present in room 514 today.
Okay, Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobson,
Through the chairman and Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing be returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman and Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Murray?
Mr. Chairman, the building department asked to remand.
To remand?
Yes.
Okay, motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion?
So move.
So moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Next docket is 85424, 15530 Munn Road.
Application fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance issued on February 12th, 2024. Appeal was received March 11th, 2024, requesting for 3 to 5 months to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray and Dan Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative state your name for the record?
This is John DeBar.
John Clark?
John DeBar, DeBarr.
Okay, Mr. DeBar solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and proceed.
That is not my house.
Okay. That is not your house. We gotta come up with a different one. Munn Road, which is what we're looking for.
Sorry, those were 5424. Yeah, that was those were the pictures submitted by the inspector, so they submitted the wrong pictures.
I can still speak on this though, without the pictures.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
So about 3 years ago, there's a tree at Speedway that fell, damaged my house, broke windows, broke the roof, the whole side of the house. I put a roof on this house about 2 years ago, $18,000. I have interviewed since this violation, I've interviewed 18 companies, painting, windows, and exterior companies. I have contracted with one exterior company. They had a good estimate. I have a quote for $25,000 for the siding, $8,000 for the front windows, $6,000 for the front doorway. I texted him this morning, and he says within the next 3 to 4 weeks, he'll be able to put us on the schedule. June 15th, we got all the paperwork in order, and he put orders in. The windows from Provia are on back order right now, but he thinks he's going to be able to, in 3 weeks, schedule the work. The windows have to go in first, then we're going to do siding. I think November 1st, I should be done. He seems to think he's going to get it done in 6 weeks. I don't think he can do all this work in, because it's a complete siding of the home, and the front windows are all being replaced. Huge picture windows that slide. So I would request November 1st, and I think everything will be done. There was also part of the violation too that said that I didn't have a railing on the front steps. I moved into the home. I've been a resident for 21 years and a month. There's never been a railing on there, but the inspector showed me where the holes were that the railing used to be in. I never knew there was one, and Google Maps would confirm this as well. I have since repaired that and put a railing on. So I've actually done some of the work. I had difficulty getting anybody to do it. Originally, this was just 30 days that I had to make these. So at like week 5, I went and filed for the appeal, and I put the railing on myself. That's what the inspector told me I could do. So that's the status. November 1st would be great. I think we'll be done in a month maybe, but it'd be nice to months, if that's okay.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, the building department has no objection to the November.
Okay, we'll give you the 120 days, November 16th, 2024, to abate the violations. Motion?
So move.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, next docket is A 5524 15700 Lee Allen Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the garage issued on February 13th, 2024. Appeal was received March 11th, 2024. Appellant did not request time on the appeal application. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Billing Official Lynn Murray and Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, there is no one representing the estate of Jordan Gaisher. In the participant panel or in, presently in room 514 today.
Okay, Mr. Murray solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman of Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman of Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Gallagher, no. I'm sorry, through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have to remand.
Okay, motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion?
So move.
Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Docket A 5624 4421 West 11th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violations is fire damage issued on February 12th of 2024. Appeal was received on March 12th, 2024, requesting for 6 months to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Billing Official Glenn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. To the chair, there's no Brad Reinhardt in the participant panel or present in room 514.
Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman of Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman of Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and your docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board will proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of anyone to represent the project, I think we need to remand.
A motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. So move.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Docket 85724, 9721 Union Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued on March 4th of 2024. Appeal was received March 13th of 2024, requesting for 12 months to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray and Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, we do not have a Regis Williams in the participant panel. Or is that person present in room 514?
Mr. Murray solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, email, or voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of any representation, we ask that you remand this building to the building department.
A motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Bradley, second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Docket A 5924, 10531 Columbia Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is no permit, rental registration, and interior and exterior maintenance. Issued on February 23rd of 2024. Appeal was received March 13th of 2024, requesting for 2 months to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray and Jacobson Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the records? Mr. Chairman, I do not see a representative of Tailored Spaces LLC in a participant panel or present in room 514.
Mr. Murray solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice have been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its ruling and hearing today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, I think the building department requests that you remand.
A motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you. Okay, we have docket A 6024 11204 Parkview Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation of condemnation of the main structure issued on April 23rd of 2024. Appeal was received March 6th of 2024, requesting for 60 days to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Billing Official Glenn Murray, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Mr. Chairman, there was a Deborah Gray participating earlier.
Yes, that was Miss Musak, who was on earlier. Do we have a picture of the property?
We do. Give me 1 second. I'm almost gonna assume, Mr. Murray, that this property is probably gonna be similar to the last one she had, and that is also in condemnation. We could go along the same line, seeing as it sounds like she doesn't have a problem fixing the properties, to go ahead and give the same resolve for that property. What's your thought?
Mr. Chairman, I have no objection.
Okay, so we had said, I believe that we would give her 30 days to August 16th, 2024 to obtain the permits, and January 16th, 180 days, 2025 to abate the violations. Motion?
So move.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
So we seem to lost the presentation. Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, a notice will be sent out within 2 weeks.
Mr. Chairman, give me 1 second.
Sure. Sure, absolutely.
Trying to get the connection back here. Especially for the 2 adjudication work, so. Everyone give us 5 minutes, please. Okay, Mr. Chairman, we're back.
Okay. So we're going with docket A 8624 2968 East 7th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance and HVAC. Issued on March 27th and March 28th of 2024. Appeal was received on April 24th, 2024, requesting for 90 days to complete the abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, state your name for the record. Mr. Chairman, we do not have Robin Turner in the participant panel or present today in room 514.
Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobs.
Through the chairman and Ms. Davis, the notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason.
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman and Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, or voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant or document?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
And Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of an appellant, the building department would ask that you remand.
A motion is in order to deny more time and remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion? Moved by Mr. Bradley.
Second.
Second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Next docket, A 9524 3855 West 31st Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the main structure issued on March 11th of 2024. Appeal was received April 6th of 2024, requesting the appellant did not request time for the abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. Mr. Chairman, there is no one representing this estate in the participant panel, nor are they in person in room 514.
Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobs.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, the notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason.
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, email, or voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and doing it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of the appellant, the building department would request you to remand.
A motion is in order to deny more time and remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion? So move. Motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Docket A 9624 12808 Woodside Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, no permit, hazardous condition, and condemnation of the garage. Issued on April 29th of 2024. Appeal was received May 10th of 2024, requesting for 1 year to abate the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. Mr. Chairman, there is no Kimberly Morris in the participant panel, nor present in room 514 today.
Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman of Ms. Davis, the notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason.
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman of Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman, the due process requirement of notice have been given to this appellant. The board can proceed with the hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of the appellant, the building department would ask you to remand.
A motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Docket A 9724. Let's see. 12808 Cumberland Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of garage, no permit, interior and exterior maintenance, and hazardous conditions. Issued on April 29th of 2024. Appeal was received May 10th of 2024. Applicant was asking for 1 year to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, there is no Kimberly Morris in the participant panel, or is that person present in room 514 today?
Mr. Murray, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Through the chairman and Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And to the chairman, the due process requirement of notice have been given to this appellant. The board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of the appellant, the building department would ask you to remand.
Motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Housing docket A 101-24 1283 West 106th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the main structure as well as the garage. Issued on April 30th of 2024. Appeal was received May 15th of 2024, requesting for 6 months to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Billing Official, Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Cecilia Lee.
Okay, all right. How do you say the last name?
Lee.
Lee? Lee. Okay. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you've been waiting a long time. All right.
So it's a little bit of an interesting situation here. The house fire is due to arson. So therefore, the prosecutor has stated that we are not allowed to go forward with demolition until they give us the go-ahead, which as of right now is not until August. We're also waiting on insurance, but I have already found a demolition contractor and paid the down payment. And I myself am eager to move forward and get this torn down as far as the main structure goes. The greenhouse is at the far end of the property. It was not affected by the fire at all. And when the city came out, they just labeled it condemned, I was told, because usually they want to clear the entire lot. But it was not harmed at all. There's nothing wrong with that structure. It is just as sound as it was prior to the fire.
All right. What about something called the garage? Is that what that is?
That's what they're referring to. There's no garage
Okay.
on the property.
Right. Okay. Mr. Murray.
Hello, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Felipe, I'm Cecilia's husband, and I'm at the meeting.
What?
Hold on. Who is this now?
Hi, this is Felipe, I'm Cecilia's husband.
Oh, okay. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. If you got some comment, go ahead.
No, I'm just presenting myself to the meeting. I second everything Cecilia said, that the greenhouse does not need to be demoed. And we would like to move forward with the demolition of the main house as soon as possible.
Okay, all right. Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, what are your long-term plans once the property's been demolished?
We're hoping to rebuild.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, has there been have you submitted or has your contractor submitted for the demolition permit?
Yes, I believe he has.
Our demolition contractor has.
All right. I believe the issue with the garage or the greenhouse is the code will not allow an accessory structure to a building when there's no building. And that's probably what they're running into. The building department wouldn't have any objection to the building, to the greenhouse remaining. Mr. Chairman, how much time is reasonable in a situation like this?
Right. What I would recommend is probably just to remand it back to the city to keep an eye on it. And when it's ready to go, they're ready to do it. You're on top of it. I think that's probably the best way to handle this.
Sorry, can you clarify that a little bit?
But what I'm saying is that if we remand the property back to the city, they can pay attention to what's going on, and when they get freed up, and then again, when you're going to start the building of it, or redoing it, they'll be there. And if we need to do something at that time, I think because it'll be a new structure, then something else can be done. But I think right now, because we don't know what's happening with the city and with their investigation, that we can't really put any time on it. I believe we just have to remand it back to the city so that it's underneath their purview to be able to work along. That doesn't stop you from doing anything that you're going to be doing. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Murray, you agree with
Mr.
it?
Chairman, we would ask you remand to the city.
Okay, to do that. Okay. So a motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building housing for any further action. Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice to be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next docket, under adjudication orders, docket A 404-23 and A 111-24, 1501 Euclid Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This is an adjudication order to several of the OPC codes and fire codes issued on May 3rd of 2024. The amended adjudication order from the original docket of 404-23 was submitted for board's consideration on May 3rd of 2024. I'm sorry, May 21st of 2024. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Glenn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Would the owner or the owner's representative please state your name for the record?
Good morning. My name is Tom. Last name is Einhouse, E-I-N-H-O-U-S-E. The Vice President of Facilities and Capital for Playhouse Square Foundation, and I am authorized to testify.
Okay, that's Einhaus.
Correct.
Okay, and then we also have, you're going to be the only one speaking?
Now, I'd like to also introduce the other two folks that are with me this morning. I have with me Melissa Spires from Berardi Architects. Melissa's firm is the architect of record for the project. And also with me is Robert Scott Sustar of Dankin Associates, who is the engineer of record under the umbrella of Berardi for this project.
Okay, so we're going to swear everybody in, including on the city side. I think we also have Lieutenant Alexiak. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, is there anyone else with you, Lieutenant?
No, just myself. Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
very good. All right, so with all those that you mentioned, solemnly swear, tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Okay, for Playhouse Square, who's ever going to be doing the talking there, go ahead and let us know what the plans are.
Yes, quick overview of the project. We're converting 4 floors of the Bulkley building at 1501 Euclid into 84 units of residential. It's a mixed use property with the residential, office users and retail. At issue is the fire line. The code says that we need to have a separate line for the building with the conversion to housing. And we are asking for a variance to allow us to connect to the fire line in the Lowe's building, which is immediately adjacent. You can see the photographs below where the plywood is, where those yellow lines are, is the kind of demarcation between the Lowe's building and the location of the fire pump that will be installed for the Bulkley building project. The fire pump is within the Bulkley building. The guidance that we've received in conversation with Tom Vanover was a suggestion that we pursue a deed restriction. So it's important to point out that all of the properties in question are wholly owned by Playhouse Square Foundation. They're under different LLCs and different names because of different tax credit entities that we're working with, but they are all wholly owned by Playhouse Square. We would then file this deed restriction. So in the event in the future, if Playhouse Square Foundation ever decides to sell the Bulkley building, the deed restriction would be filed and require that a purchaser of the Bulkley building would need to put in an independent fire line to the building. I'm gonna also ask Scott Sustar or Melissa Spires to chime in if I've in fact missed any selling points.
Okay. So who's, go ahead, Mr. Sustar.
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit. Currently, the two buildings and the whole complex, once you're in the building, things kind of just blend from one building to another. But currently, part of the Bulkley basement is fed from the same fire line of the Lowe's building. What our intent here is, what we're proposing is separate that line at the point of entry to give the Bulkley building a dedicated fire line and fire pump and system, dedicated fire alarms, to separate those systems to every extent, with the only shared component remaining being that fire line from the center of Euclid Avenue to the building face.
Okay.
So, and as Tom said, then the kind of the compromise that Playhouse Square is proposing, with discussions with all stakeholders, is to place this deed restriction that says, hey, if either of these buildings are ever sold, the contingent upon the sale is going to be a new line from the center of Euclid Avenue to either of the buildings.
Okay. We have any other comments? Of course, we have to hear from Fire also that they are in agreement with this decision, and that it would just be the one fire line coming in for the multiple buildings, I guess you'd say. More defined than that, I'm sure, but and with the provision that you had mentioned about the fire lines and the difference, just that what we're doing is we're doing one line coming in from the street to service them. Who wants to speak on that? Is it Lieutenant Alexiak?
Yes, Lieutenant Alexiak with Cleveland Fire. So, so the Division of Fire does not agree with this idea, but we do accept it. We definitely accept the ownership's right to pursue this path with the AHJ. We support the AHJ's request that the ownership have a deed restriction in the event of a sale. Also for the record, do we know what the building record is? Ownership and their design teams have gone. They've submitted extensive records, plans. The building commissioner, myself, have done a site inspection. So they've moved. They've done everything that's been asked of them from our part. But for the record, do we have the building record number under which we're going to be doing this, just for this hearing for the record? The B number?
The adjudication.
Ownership or design team, do we have that?
I can get that.
I have it listed as, and I'd have to confirm this, but what I have it listed as is B 23025346-2.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the adjudication order, I believe, that called this out, and ownership's doing everything that's been requested of them. Have you guys made progress on obtaining your deed restriction?
We were waiting for this to be accepted, and we will take care of it immediately.
Okay. There's no further comments.
Okay, very good. From the city, Mr. Murray?
I just want to clarify, I'm not sure that I understood correctly. The deed restriction will be put in place now, and it will allow, if the building gets sold off in the future, it will allow them to continue, the new owner to continue to use some portion of the fire line? Is that the case?
My understanding, specifically, and anyone can clarify this, that if a new owner takes possession or attempts to take possession of the Bulkley building, it would be required by virtue of this deed restriction to provide a separate connection of the fire line into the building, into the Bulkley building, separating it from the Lowe's building.
Mr. Chairman, to Lieutenant Alexiak, was that the gist of what was discussed?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So the deed restriction, Mr. Chairman, to the applicant, the deed restriction would go into effect basically now. However long it takes to get it enacted onto the recorded plat.
I think the agreement was that it would be in place before you guys are asked to issue the certificate of occupancy for the project.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, as you're aware, this doesn't comply with the building code, but it's not something that we're allowed to go ahead and approve. But we don't have any objection if the board decides that it's an appropriate resolution.
Okay, so we will issue the variance to the code.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead,
Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I wanted clarification on the deed restriction and the reporting process there. I wanted that document to be reviewed by the city and approved by the city's law department prior to being reported.
Okay, we can do that, of course, and have all that information sent in that everybody has talked about on this, and that it won't be more or less adopted until 2 weeks from now. So we need to get all that in there so that law department and whatnot can review this and make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be and the way it's been stated. And with that, I'll put it out before the board that we would go ahead and agree to this variance that has been that we've talked about. And then it'll have all that information in it. And that should do the job. Is that correct, Mr. Jacobson?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right. So motion is in order to allow this variance to occur for the one line to be used for the multiple buildings, with the caveat that, again, if something sold or broke up, that there would be another notification would have to be done. All that's going to be worded in, sent through the law department, the city, and with all the other specifications about alarms and whatnot that go with that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
It probably should be related, if it's sold or broken up, to an entity that is not controlled by Playhouse Square. Because I could see Playhouse Square creating a new entity that would flip the building to themselves, but they would still maintain control. Is that, Mr. Einhaus, is that something that could happen?
Yes, Mr. Murray, thank you for bringing that up. That's a good point, because as we would possibly move to different tax credit entities, that could quite possibly occur.
Okay, so that would need to be covered also within that agreement. And you're shaking your head that yes, that would be amenable to you to have that put in.
Absolutely.
Okay, is there any other questions on that from the city? Mr. Murray, everything good?
We have no objection.
Okay, so with all that in play, to make a motion to have that occur and be sent in, motion so in order for the variance to be approved.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Discussion, Mr.
Go ahead.
Chairman? Okay, so we have a lot of layers to this resolution and a lot of terminology that has to be spelled out in the resolutions. So is it my understanding that before we adopt the resolution that Playhouse Square, the entity known as Playhouse Square, needs to submit that deed placket recording to law department before the adoption of the resolution?
That is correct.
Okay, and if they, so that means they need to have that to them by a date before July 31st, so we would have to delay with adopting this resolution, would delay them getting their fee permit issued.
That is correct.
Okay, so long as they're clear on that. And, with sidebar with, Lieutenant, I would need to speak with you and the technical specifications.
That's
Some parts of the resolution.
right.
No
That should
problem.
all go over to the law department for Cleveland, so that's all done then. And then we'll adopt it within 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask, is there anyone in particular that we should be in contact with at the law department? We have a number of contacts.
You can send it to me and, Dan Jacobson, or if you just send it to me, I can forward it to Dan Jacobson.
Okay,
And I will follow up today. If you send me an email, I will also provide his contact information.
okay.
Okay, did you call the roll on that?
I'm Mr. Bradley. Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, so the notice will be out within 2 weeks, but you'll have the other information in by then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next,
Thank
A6-24, 1986 West 99th Street.
Application and fees are in order. This is a adjudication order to some of the oversee compliance with ADA. Present for today's hearing, Acting Chief Building Official Lynn Murray, Dan Jacobson Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Julie Mallet.
Ms. Mallet, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what the plans are.
So I just want to take a minute to tell everybody who we are so you understand a little bit where we're coming from when we ask this. We are a small nonprofit, a 501c3 that resides at 1986 West 99th. Our vision is to provide safe housing, supportive home for pregnant and parenting women who are experiencing homelessness, poverty, and have a weak support system. The women in our home, once they live there, will be able to stay for approximately a year. We will provide wraparound services, support, so then they can transition into independence. The home will have the capacity for 7 women and their babies. So while the house is being planned and renovated, for the past 2 years, we've been doing outreach on the west side of Cleveland, more specifically in the Cadell neighborhood. Outreach meaning programming every month for families in the community, focusing a lot on children and mothers. And what we're really trying to do is connect the women and the families in our neighborhood and on the west side with resources. We want them to have resources so they can come into a community and they can start to thrive. So if you could please forward the PowerPoint. So maybe 2 more pages. It's who we are. Here we go right here. So our house is at 1986 West 99th. 2 years ago, Rocky River United Methodist Church gifted us this home. This home is next to their Cleveland campus, which is Story Church. So Story Church is on the corner of Madison and 99th, and our house sits 1 in from there. We have developed a partnership. They have weekly services. They have the Twice Blessed Restore. We now have offices in there and some meeting space. So when I say we host events, we bring families in We talk about different things in the community. We ask women, what do you need? What are resources you need? Recently, example, we brought in Scranton Road Ministries. They do free legal service, and we had a group of women that came in and talked about how do you deal with your landlord? How do you request things you need? And then afterwards, they spent 5 minutes with each person that was attending, and then put either to give advice and then maybe further appointments later. We're also next door to the Cadell Rec Center, and then the Marion C. Seltzer School that's going to be redone is right there. So the new exit will come right in front of our house. And if you see this picture, the house is boarded up. We have completely cleaned the inside of it. It's now painted, but as you see, it was boarded up. As we cleaned up, there was evidence of people living in there. There was drug paraphernalia. Our goal is to get new life to this home, new life to this corner, and hopefully it will spread into the community. So the local fire departments across the street, we have started collaborating a bit with backpack giveaways, summer picnics. We have one planned in a couple weeks. Trying to bring this some safe space into the community. So the next page, you'll see how close we are to Story Church. So we have just an easement to get in and out of our house on the driveway. I just wanted to show you that. Right, there you go. We can blow it up. There you go. So it's just a small easement. But if you go to the next page, it'll blow it up a little bit, please. Okay, so this is towards the church on the, towards the school on the other side on top. And next to that space is going to be a green space. And they've dedicated that, even though they've gone through a couple different plans, that's always been green space. And again, it's always going to be kind of an exit for the children to walk home from school. And then there's the back. So if you go to the next page, it's an actual picture, so you can see how close these are together. So I have included, I don't know where, I had some attachments, but basically there's a letter from Story Church and from the school system. They're very amenable to us fixing up this building, creating a nice entrance and exit to the school, just making it nice to walk by and safe to walk by. So you can keep going. I wasn't sure if everyone was going to get a copy. So that's the picture of the other side. That's all green space that will go. It connects to the rec center space and the school space. It's kind of all three together there, which is part of the park. So you go a little bit further. So far what we have done is we've approved by the Historic West Cleveland Design Review Committee. We've been approved by the Cleveland Landmarks Commission, and our zoning was approved in August 23. So here's our biggest problem. And I apologize, my architect was here until 11:20 and then he had a hard stop. So I hope I can answer everybody's questions. So the driveway ingress exists at a slope greater than 1 to 12, and we don't own the driveway. We only have a small easement to get in and out. The house sits elevated out of the ground and has limited ability to change height or have multiple heights on the first floor. And the limited land for any ramp, there's limited land around us. It's a very narrow lot. So if you go to the next page, this is what we have done. We have wider doors where possible. All the sleeping units in public areas are 30-inch doors minimum. We've added leather hardware, braille on signage, and we have an ADA compliant bathroom. And I do have a sketch that I did attach, so it might be towards the end. And we do have a bedroom on the first floor. There's an exterior stairs with low risers and handrails on both sides. Exterior landings at the same level of interior. The door clearances for approach and exit. Future projects for an exterior lift, a sidewalk provided to exterior lift, new door for future exterior handicap lift, and power provided for future handicap lift. Our plumbing fixtures with levels, Our first floor sink is mounted at appropriate heights. And we do have a partnership with the City Mission Laura's Home, which is a fully accessible facility. And they have agreed to intake mothers who we could not accommodate. And I want to add that we are in the community to find the best resources for what the needs are of the women. So if it's accessibility, then we would say, and I have added a letter from Laura's Home, the City Mission, we will refer them there. If they have an opioid addiction, we're going to go to the Metro Mom's House. If they have multiple children, we're going to refer them and guide them to Haven Home or Zelly's Home. We just want to see people in the appropriate place to get the right help. So as you see, Chris, we've gotten a nice quote from the Northeast Ohio Coalition, and I do have other attachments that I've talked about, the letters, the bathroom, etc. I don't know. We'll keep going. We'll see if they're there. Was that the end of it? Oh. So these are the attachments. I don't know if you put the attachments on here.
The members do have the attachment. They were emailed to them.
Right. Okay. I did it. I thought people were going to be forwarded to people. So my apologies. I do have a letter from Laura's Home City Mission about our partnership. I do have a letter from Story Church regarding that our partnership, and they would like us to be there. I have a letter from the Cleveland Metropolitan School with the same message. They want us to clean up the home. They want us to be a nice pathway for the kids to go back and forth. I had also included our ADA compliant bathroom sketch, our most recent adjudication letter, and then the full plans for 1986 West 99th. So, I'm just asking, for, I guess, an exception so we can move forward. We can start helping women in our community. And again, we are going to point women in the right direction of where they're going to be, where they are going to be best suited.
What is the exception you're asking for?
It's the ramp, the accessibility, for the exiting the buildings. We don't have a ramp there.
Okay. So okay. Is there any plans in the future for that, or is that?
Right. So we don't have space for a ramp. And because of what I kind of explained on the level, and again, I wish our architect was still on, he could explain this a lot better. But we only have a small easement on that side. And because that our property is so narrow, we're struggling to fit it in. And so we're opting to try to do a chair lift. And so at this point in our design, we don't have the chair lift, but we do have electric going to it. The door is, the opening of the door will be all right to just add the lift kind of in our next phase, maybe potentially in a year to add that lift.
Okay. And you probably have maybe other facilities that are ADA totally compliant.
Correct.
Where somebody was in that condition.
Correct.
Like you're sending people to other locations because of other reasons. That may be a reason to send someone to a different location also. I can get that. Okay. All right. So that's your ask then on that, and that's it. So, all right, let me get over to Glenn Murray.
Mr. Chairman, considering that they have provided alternative means of compliance through the use of other facilities and have made efforts to make the building accessible to the extent possible, the city has no objection, the building department has no objection to granting a variance to the full accessibility.
Okay. So therefore, we're not going to have any objection either as a board. Just know that we can't, it's federal law, and so we have no control over that. But so if they happen to come in and cite something, then that's different. But I think you got a good argument that you do have places you can send people. So So we would grant the variance for not being ADA compliant in for that reason on your, I guess it would be access or egress in compliance at this time.
So the other Ms. has her hand up.
That's me. I do have a question.
Sure.
Where is this future chairlift to be located? What portion of the building?
It's towards the, it would be the second entrance on the driveway. So the first entrance is already there. It would be in the addition.
Okay,
So-
so where, that, at the porch?
Correct. It would be
Where?
like the new porch.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Are we good? Any other questions?
Not for me.
Okay. All right, so motion is in order to grant the variance to the access egress of the location. Motion motion to grant the variance.
So
Mr. Radley?
moved.
Who's that? Ms. Lipscomb?
So moved.
Okay. Second. Okay, second the motion.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notification will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that was our last docket.
Yes.
So we have resolutions. We have A 99-23, A 73-23, A 74-23, A 77-23, A 81-23, A 194-23, A 216-23, A 220-23, A 221-23, A 224-23, A 238-23, A 12-24 through A-2024. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Ms. Lipscomb. Yeah, I hear him. Second by Mr. Bradley.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley. Yes. Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, approval of minutes for June 5th, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Motion? So moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley. Yes. Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Is there any other business?
No.
No? Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you.
See you in 2 weeks.
Okay.